Well, hello, everybody. Hello, Diana.
Hello, Valerie. How are
Diana and
you?
she, Diana and I were in the back talking, and I really wasn't doing too well for a minute. Things kind of got to me, those moments in time where you're like,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna burn some sage, and hopefully I can find matches. Swear
That's
I don't
always
have a
helpful.
lighter.
That's helpful when you want to light a fire.
Yeah, I don't have a lighter. My son's gonna get me one today. But anyway, so Diana here and I are here today, not knowing, because we've been planning this get together every week now for now on, and because we decided it's a intense year going forward. But we had no idea within the last week how many solar flares would be blasting off the sun and coming out, and it really is, it's really, I love observing it, I love knowing about it. The sun has turned, and today it had two X-class solar flares just today alone. The biggest one was yesterday, like almost a nine, X9, X879 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was almost a full nine. So
So
the
here we are,
impact was enough to feel like it, that's for sure.
right? And here we are being, I feel, the sun, spirit, all the energies in the cosmos that are of the higher vibration of unconditional love and truth are blasting our planet, our solar system, so we remove the density that's holding anything back from ascending, and at the same time it's delivering light codes into us, and we're all individuals, and we receive those individual nudges and knowings and inklings and all that kind of stuff on what's my next best step, where am I going. So you got to look at it kind of, it's serving two purposes, although that releasing one can be very painful. I remember uh, in the last solar maximum, I think it was around 2012, 13, 14. I was really sick. I think I said this last time. And I honestly thought I was dying. And they had me look up the solar flares, and I didn't believe it. I was like, what are you talking about, solar flares?
Was that
And
the Halloween one or that was 2008?
uh, that whole time period, because I want to say from 2003 to 2014, well, even 15, yeah, till about 16, I was really sick. I was really, really, I honestly didn't think I was going to make it. It is a dark night of the soul that just kept repeating on repeat. You'd feel better for a little bit, and then you'd be flattened out again. But there was so much in me that had to be removed, right? To get, and I'm not saying I'm anywhere or anybody, but I feel a lot better than I did back then. And cleared a lot of trauma and pain and abuse and you name it, the whole list that we all have, and we all carry, unfortunately, throughout our lifetimes on earth. So for the sun to do this, because I do watch it, I have watched it since 2000, early 2000s. At first I didn't believe it, didn't even pay it any attention until they were really, check this out, and very few people were even discussing it. So I want that anybody here suffering or struggling under these intense energies being blasted onto the planet, I want you to know that that's releasing. You're not going to stay like that. I'm not sure. I'm praying you all feel good and you all are receiving more light codes and downloads on your forward movement, on, because now the forward movement is us. We're the ones going to create the new earth. We're the ones planting the seeds. Diana was planting seeds all day, right? And you have to do it in a certain way, right? But you can
Yeah,
plant.
you do. I mean, So I've started a lot of things from seed, and some of them are so small you can't just put one in a pot.
Hmm.
And so you sprinkle them across the top, and of course always more get on there than you hoped for. And as they start to grow, they get congested. Well, they're little babies in the nursery. That's the way they want to be. They're still in the womb, right? So
Right.
as they begin to sprout, now they're going to start to choke each other out. You want the healthy ones to live, so you have to separate them. But you can't put one in a big pot because they're so entangled. And so when you begin to separate them, you still have, it's like putting a little fish in a huge pond. He'll grow, but it's a goldfish. He's going to be food for another one first, right?
Exactly.
So I transplanted and untangled some of those, but kept the clusters together. As you go to put them in the soil, you separate them apart a little bit. The ones that are strong will be the ones to survive. They will pick and choose on their own without choking each other out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've started a lot of things. I love to grow pumpkins and pass them out around the neighborhood. I just love pumpkins anyway. But I'm really contemplating a lavender farm. And
No,
so
nice.
I've converted one of my raised beds to be for lavender. So I'm also started plants from seeds, but I purchased 3 big plants.
Mm.
Decent. And I've planted them in a triangle. And that triangle represents teacher, healer, wisdom,
Mm.
maiden, mother, crone.
Mm-hmm.
And as these are ready, these baby lavender seeds are ready for their next transplant, if they're strong enough, I'm going to put them in a ground in rows, close, so they still have that feeling, and stick them in there with maiden, mother, crone. So they have the auntie and they have the mother and they have the grandmother taking care of them. And then they'll have to be thinned out one more time after that.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
because,
is brilliant, isn't it, Priscilla? Man,
oh,
it just
thank you.
it's
Thank you.
and right, that's Diana is, we know she's magical and she's connected and she reads cards and the Akashic records and can do astrology and is psychic and is intuitive. But all of us who have these skills and abilities doing whatever that thing is, that she's being motivated by her garden, by this lavender mother maiden crone. And it's just, to me, it's just okay, that's how we infuse our energy into these energies. We can't really say, okay, let's make the new earth, let's start from, let's scrap it all and make a new foundation. Well, the foundation is integrity, honesty, truth, and authenticity, right? Once you got that down, but we still have to go through the maze, right? The
Yes.
maze of the distorted, we know doesn't work, but they're trying their hardest to keep it valid and alive, or what's, that's not the word I wanted, but keeping it going. And we know that that's not the way forward, because if it's not heart centered and soul centered, it's not viable. It's not in humanity's best interest. So that's kind of like what's the question that we came up with earlier. It was like, what, first of all, what does ascension mean to you? What does that mean to us? Want to say hi to everybody first? Yeah,
Sure.
Priscilla, Randy, hi, Silver Star Priestess, how are you?
Karen,
Karen, how are you doing? Nori Hunsinger, hi, Rossi.
Rossi, Randy.
Rossi, Randy, Whitney. Hi.
Priscilla,
Yeah. Oil
Karen
painter. Hi.
Robinson.
Bora Bora.
So,
Uh,
and this is going to continue to be a nursery because I have another area that next year those plants will be able to be moved. And I figure I will be able to get 3 rows with 10 plants in each row. With lavender, you should put like about 3 feet to 4 feet in between the furrows. But you've heard me complain about this slope on the side of my property that I cannot, is so difficult to mow. And it's too costly to try to put, railroad ties in there and do tiered like that. But it's perfect for lavender because they don't like to be wet. So the slope of the hill is going to take the water down to where the trees are, and it's going to get this a constant sun from the rising sun in the east to the setting sun in the west, because it's on that side of my house. And the other side of the house is just as empty and open to have continuous sunlight. I mean, a half an acre is a lot of land when you think about it, There's a lot here I can play with. So I'm loving it, and I'm trying to subtly move into a perma garden,
and that resonates with us doing our gardens, right? Our life is our garden, right? And how can we, like, all of this thought process, the water, the sun, and where everything goes is what's going to help the the plants make it, right? And without that in the right positions, you're just gonna, I know many times, I think many, all of us have done it, planted things that just didn't grow. Nothing grew. And there you are, go, why isn't anything growing? Even
right?
though with all the best research and your soil, okay, that's another thing, the soil, the water, the air. And that is the foundation, right? Because without those being healthy and viable, whether for your real garden or your life garden, it all matters, right? All these small details matter. And I know, I think most of everyone here, kind of has this going with the flow feeling, right? Where I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it. I'm taking, I'm going for a ride. Hi, Laura Hammond Davis, and we're hoping.
No,
Oh, we're
Groucho said
getting.
hello.
Oh, Groucho did. Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Groucho.
Thank you, Groucho.
Such a cutie. And we, again, I believe that those of us who are aware and connected to our hearts and our souls are the front runners and are the ones going to create this new earth. And I, maybe this is a me problem, right? I'm thinking of, well, what am I going to do? Like this big thing I have to do. Well, it can't be a big thing. We are where we are, and it's got to be from where you're sitting, right? Whether you're just sitting there going, sending love out all day, that matters. That energy, that frequency matters. Hi, Ruby Red Slippers.
Hi,
So
Elizabeth.
cute. Elizabeth. So,
So
so, well, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
that's okay. The other thing is, I don't know if I will endeavor to do that by myself, but I have a local neighbor who raises bees, who raises honey.
Nice.
And so if I can gear this, I mean, bees go to honey. I mean, bees go to lavender, and that's what they're bringing back to their hive, right?
Oh,
And so
nice.
if the hive is put in the area where the lavender is mainly growing, that hive would you could consider it to be lavender honey, because that's the only bees that are going to go in there. So I don't know enough about it to really talk about it right now, nor do I know for sure that I want to do it myself.
Right.
But, you know, a lot of people just say, well, you can put it here. You know, you can keep a hive here. You just got to come and tend to it, because I don't want to fuss with the bees. Bees don't bother me.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Not
I step on
not
them
real bee.
periodically, and then I apologize to the bee.
But I mean, that's perfect analogy what you're saying. I'm not sure what I want to do going forward.
Right.
It is. It's kind of like, okay, we're feeling into it. And that's the thing I'm getting a lot. It's feel into what it is that is like helping your heart smile, making your heart smile, giving
Right.
you that joy in your heart. And it doesn't have to be a big thing.
Right. And even if I don't personally keep bees on this property, people can come and cut a bouquet of lavender. I can cut them and pass them out to the 14 houses in the neighborhood, you know.
And that's beautiful. Who doesn't want a bouquet? Hi, Perette.
Especially if something that smells continuously, even when it's dried out, right?
I love that smell. Oh my
Rub
God.
it in, and it's fragrant.
And plus, you know, I mean, Diana's got a couple things she's working on, like salves and things
Yeah.
that are organic and naturally made for, you know, for various. Well, it was a comfrey salve, but just things like that. Like
Well,
it's all
and dandelion.
and dandelion, but it's all an experiment, right? Because you got to play with it. You got to
Well,
make it work,
sure.
right?
Exactly. And I mean, I have my own ideas on what works and what would work for the general. And everybody does. And there's a lot of recipes out there, and they're all different or very similar, and they all do the job. But, you know, like all of us, I'm an individual, and this is what I think would help in the long run in all directions. So,
Exactly, and
so
that's the mother maiden crone thing. Who I think all of us here are all about. Who can I help? How can I help? How can I be of service? And what does that mean going forward in these new energies? And I really think it's just I mean, I say it all the time. It's an epic time to be alive, and what direction you want to go is chosen by you and your heart. You know, so do it. Go for it. We had a couple things we do got to talk about. All these solar flares. Uranus was building up to the sun. Okay, and we're going to go into the Kazemi, right, where it looks like it goes into the heart of the sun, gets very, very close, and they have a conversation, right? But the build up takes, it's a slow moving planet. Build up takes a while. Well, the closer he got, the more the flares were going. And
so that
it's
was yesterday,
still
right?
still ongoing. It
Well,
what
the
day are we
flares
on?
are just because the sun has now stated ahead of Uranus doesn't mean that they're still not close enough to be conjunct.
Well,
Because with
this is
the sun, you give them 10 degrees.
exactly. So this is a long time. Now the sun has turned isn't Earth facing anymore, but that's still that Uranus is building up, coming up. It's coming right there. It's a slow mover, so we're probably going to get more flares. Well, right behind them on the 18th, Jupiter's going to Kazemi the sun. Now Jupiter's the biggest planet in the solar system, so we know more flares are coming.
Right.
On the
Well,
18th
today,
also.
today we have Vulcan and the sun conjunct at 25 degrees. Now, what is Vulcan? Vulcan is a planet that you cannot be found, cannot see it because it travels so close to the sun. But it represents your first ray of power and strength. He is the blacksmith of the universe. He is Mr.
Mm,
Spock, came from Vulcan. right?
Well, but that personal inner power is important, right? Because if we don't have
Exactly.
that inner drive,
Exactly. So, what did I get today? You remember this morning, Val and I were chatting, and I'm so tired of not, of this leg, and I have been screaming over and over, I do not own this. I do not want this pain. This pain is not mine. I don't know who it
mhm,
belongs to, but the spirit of Diana has nothing to do with it,
done with
and the soul of Diana has nothing to do with it, and the body of Diana is screaming at you.
it.
And I went out there today and I had power and strength and had no trouble at all till I came in to take a break. So it's like the same old thing. I have to be that hyperactive 4-year-old because when I stop moving, that's when I hurt.
And
But
isn't that the
it wasn't
case?
as bad as it's been, especially through those solar flares, which helped
Exactly.
me to identify what is happening because of them, the
Yes.
setbacks happening because of those major solar flares we're getting, right?
Yeah. And
But no matter where your sun and Vulcan are, the strength that was experienced today between that conjunction, we should all have felt in some way because it's in Taurus. It's grounding. In your chart, if you can look it up, what house was it in? What house was lit up for you? For me, that was the 7th house. What did I find? Balance. I went out there and found balance for the first time in 2.5 years. I mean, where I didn't feel like every time I got up or made a move or went in a different
mhm.
direction, you know?
Well, yeah, and don't you agree though? Like even, I mean, all life on Mother Earth, and you can't help but get uh, these this energy from the sun, from any of these aspects. Now we have the sun and Uranus energy mixed in there together. You want to talk about powerful and off the charts, out of the box is surprises and shocks and unusual happenings. I think we're going to see could be earthquakes and volcanoes, the same
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
And that
Or
kind of
tornadoes.
tornadoes, any kind of atmospheric stuff, weather stuff. We the flooding. What I think it was Lori said, more flares will be facing us tomorrow or Friday. Yes.
Yeah.
Now that even if they're not facing us, if it's an at X class and it shoots, it goes all around
Well,
the
and
whole
we
the whole sun.
we have Venus on one side and Jupiter on the
Right.
other side, and
Right.
boom, they're getting it. The planets that
Mm-hmm.
are out there are also affected by things. It's not just us, whether it's
Yeah.
facing towards us or not, the similar path, the direction in which it goes, and how far out it gets even bigger and wider, right? So when it's blasting towards the Earth, it's also going to hit Jupiter and Venus, which is
Well,
what that was all
absolutely.
about, right?
Yeah, isn't that what all this is about? We have the four. Well, we had the moon involved a little bit ago. Right now, we have the sun, Venus. Well, it's the four. I'm sorry, Jupiter and Uranus tracking together. And as those planets come up to the sun, and that's powerful. I mean, the power that is being infused onto those planets by the sun is just. And where's our sun get the information? Right, from the central sun. Like all this energy comes down through different channels. And it to me it's an intelligent system. This is not, we just think there are planets hanging up there and they don't have any, they're just nothing. They're just sitting there. That's not true. They have so much energy. Each planet, each body, I don't care what it is, asteroid, comet, has a essence to it.
Right,
And that essence determines what it is we're going to feel from it. So we know
right.
the sun is what enlightens us, right? What gives us life. Uranus. We just talked about that out of the box. Just don't know. I mean, it's the only planet that spins on its side, so you
Well,
can't ever figure him out. So we're just like, whatever.
never going to figure that one out. But the truth of the matter is, planet is it is has had a shifted definition with moving into modern times, because what planet means is sky traveler. So a star is a planet. They were all planets in the days of the Magi. It was referred to as a planet because it was a sky traveler.
Hmm. And see, yes, you're right, Lori Hunting. There was two class flares today.
Yeah.
And and then it is on a new sunspot. But the sunspots are massive. I mean, they're taking up big chunks of the sun. We're just a teeny pinhead
Right.
dot compared to that.
Right.
But I
And
do think. Go ahead.
no, the plasma that used to protect Earth is what is missing.
Okay, so that I was getting ready to say, yeah. But Earth is still protected, and I
Yeah.
think that's where uh, the higher realms come in. I think we have a lot of assistance on the other side, whether it's dragons, angels, elementals, God, Mother, Father, God, you name it.
Yes. Remember,
Because,
were we talking Saturday? And yes, it was Saturday, because Friday night I got good pictures of the aurora borealis.
that was so cool, yeah.
Then Saturday night it rained and I couldn't get any. But before the
Mm.
rains came, I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden there's this big clearing in the sky behind me with the setting sun. Great big huge orange ball. You know, it's like that old song. So this big orange ball is in the sky, and it's that beautiful, that you can't even describe the color of the orange that it was. But all over Fenton, the whole county, Tennessee County, was covered in one black cloud.
Mm.
And I mean, you could see it was supposed to be a cloud, but it was flat bottomed. And then all of a sudden, and I couldn't pull over to take a picture. I had the dogs,
Mm.
I'm in town, people are walking around. It's too crazy. It's never going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. Comes a rainbow. Now, you know that this is a tube, right? You know it's a cup. It's circular. It's a cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the sky, it's like there was a little part in the clouds, and out of the sky comes an arc of a rainbow, just like a quarter arc, maybe a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a cylinder. It was three-dimensional. And I had never, I mean, most time you see a rainbow and it's a flat Stanley in the
Mm-hmm.
sky, whether it's a double rainbow or a complete arc, and you're lucky enough to get one from one end to the next. This was pouring like the Sherwin-Williams ad, where it was just coming out of this little partition in the sky, pouring down. And it was like that the whole time that I was driving through Fenton, and I could see it. And then all of a sudden, the cloud lifted. It didn't move away. Clouds move. This did not move. There was no motion within the cloud itself, even in the shadows and shapes that you could see. It just lifted and disappeared.
Whoa.
How many miles big was that space station that was hovering over us, pouring the blessing of the rainbow on top of us?
And see, that's what I'm talking about. There's blessings everywhere. Earth is being protected because if she wasn't, I want to go back, what was it, maybe 2 weeks ago, that first X class that was direct hit, and it came early, but it should have did more damage. It should have been, there's something here that is, for a better word, right?
There's no predictability with them either, because Now they can predict it, and then they see it go off, and then they tell us when it's going to hit. And then 3 hours later, it's, oh my God, it hit 6 hours before it was supposed to. Hang
Exactly.
on to your hat. It's
Hang
going to hit.
on. Yeah. So there's no way to, you, they, and plus let's be honest here. There's a big, well, there's a certain segment of our society that wants to say the sky is falling, right? And we're all screwed, and there's no way that we're going to live through this. Well, there's a reason why it's happening. There's a reason why we're here. I don't think there's been this many X-class solar flares in this short a period of time. I've been trying to track them, and I've got just for two, what, from the 13th on. It's
Yep.
and those were all Earth facing.
Oh, and if, in
Yeah,
the 60s, what we get? 3, 4 a year. And then
maybe.
in the 70s, we got more, but not like we're getting now. We've had 300 and what?
Right, exactly.
2024 had three, or 2023 had, I don't know, 400 and something. I mean, that's in 1 year. That's a lot of solar flares. And now that we're,
And we're in a solar maximum
yeah.
time, so it lights up every 11 years. I think Priscilla, she put that the last one was 2008 to
Oh,
2014.
and that's when Pluto went into Capricorn.
Capricorn, right? Yeah, in solar maximum 24 peaked in 2014, started in December 2008 to December 2019. And yes, that was a very painful period for me because I wasn't really on board with all this information until I lived through it. Did I understand that it did? It cleared a lot of that out of me, though, but I had to believe in that. I had to believe in myself. I had to believe that spirit's here. That you know how hard it is when you're first waking up. Is this really happening? But here we are, and not only is that this going on with the solar flares, not only is that going on with all this astrology that we talk about all the time, and the Piscean age is closing down as the Aquarian age is coming on, and we're headed to a golden age. There is no way to sit here and go, is that Groucho?
Yep.
See, he
Hello.
agrees with me. Oh,
Hello.
hi, Groucho.
Groucho. Hello.
He knows what's going on. And
Hello.
then here we are, right? Going, okay, we're here, we're safe, we're safe. We do have that segment in the society who wants to say the sky's falling and we're going to take your rights and all that crap. But we all here pretty much know that's not how it's going to pan out. But this is also a timeline jump, quantum. Maybe some are staying in 3D and on a soul level playing this whole game out again. But there's a huge amount of us that are awake and will be waking up this year that are choosing a different timeline and a different way of life, being heart centered and soul centered. So it's just amazes me just to observe it. Just
Well,
observing it is like, whoa.
and and watch your own eyes and perception of your own eyes. They're getting as good as the camera lens on your cell phone. Anja Ashdown was in the chat last night in the dream show, and she had seen, I think she said it was a blue line, and I saw right away a dragon line. When she said that, I saw this dragon line.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, if when I turned a corner today, getting onto one of the roads to bring me back here, there was a big green streak for me, a big green streak. And I went, oh, now that's a ley line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and just before we came on, there were 2 orbs here behind my head.
Mm-hmm. And that's all around us, right? And this is another thing Diane and I wanted to talk about. Yeah, once you awaken and you know this and you know these things are going on and you know your guidance is talking to you and you follow what's going on and it leads you in the right direction and you trust it, right? It, you never stop doing that. It's not like, okay, right now I'm turned off and I'm just Valerie. Well, no, Valerie's here with her whole team all the time, right? It doesn't stop.
Right.
It wasn't always like this, but now that when you get to a certain level of understanding and acceptance and belief, right? It
Yeah.
just is. It's you know, uh,
Yeah.
and why is it? To help guide people, to help us all navigate. Because we all
Mhm.
have a piece of this puzzle.
Right.
We don't have the whole puzzle. So this is why we hang out with each other and we have these
Well,
conversations. What's
and
going on for you, right?
right. It's all connected in that
There was, Lori.
like when we do the Akashic show, we open the records for the collective so that everybody, is has opportunity, and it's easy for me to read the others. But when we close the records, they're still open to me. It's just
Right,
all of those people aren't going to come in you know in my path and me
right,
be able to identify them. I may get downloads, but not always knowing who that pertains to, but then
right.
run into the situation and go, oh, you were what that was about.
Hmm. Constant synchronicities.
Yes.
We used to call them coincidence, but it's not. It is synchron because everything around us in every moment is speaking to us. Are we paying attention? And once you notice that, you start to pay attention to everything. Every little sign is anything. Anything that's going on is communication from the other side. Yeah, I wanted to say hi to Mary Starshine Fatima. How are you?
Wiki's here too.
Wiki, yeah, Wiki. And I wanted to say, Lori Hunsiker, yes, there. Once the solar flares go off, there's always it shows up on the Schumann
Right.
resonance, always, and it will knock you out, and then it will have you sitting there going deep inside of you. Uh-oh, and she'll be back. There she.
What happened?
I don't know. Did I do it or did I didn't do anything?
No, I think spirit did it by itself. Ooh.
I love it. And and so here we are. We have all these magical tools, right? We have crystals
Oh
and
yeah. Well,
cards and
right.
pendulums
And
and you
sometimes I
name it.
need a card because there's so much in here. Or
Yes.
I'm hearing it in dragon speak or light language, and how do I translate that? How the graphic that's behind us? How do you explain that? Well, it looks like a dragon wing. It looks like a butterfly wing. It looks like a fairy wing. It's
Hmm.
got all the. It's magenta. It's sapphire. It's indigo. It's green. It's yellow. It's orange. I mean, and does that do it justice? No.
Yeah. And see, that is
I
intelligent,
love it.
Randy. Always ask for grace and ease. She
That's
said her body's been tingling, being outside, keeping busy helps. That's what
yeah,
Diana does. Lori is saying there's a large, yes, the large push of energies. And this is also true, Lori. It's weaving in new energies while pushing up the old, pushing up and out the old. It's not just one front of energies. Never, ever is it. It's always changing, right? The fluctuations in, that's why there's all those graphs, right? That read the Schumann, that read the
the
solar storms
Teslas,
and the
the
flares.
Tesla
Yeah,
graphs too.
yeah. It's so cool. And the more you, hi, Karen Doyle, and the more you uh, stay in tune with it, keep track of it and track how you're feeling. Keep a journal. I mean, right now is definitely, again, I'll say it again, is these energies are designed to clear out the density in the blocks inside of us that could have been there, may have been there, probably have been there for lifetimes. But as it's doing that, it's bringing in light codes. It's bringing into the frequency that you are, the understanding that you are. It's bringing that in to help you elevate further and keep
There,
going. Keep
there
going.
just went another one, and I don't think anybody could see it, but it was right here. Oh my God, I've got chills. Well,
and it, and
that
if
distracted
anyone,
me. I was going to say something, and that just got my attention.
I mean, if anyone wants a card, anyone wants us to read, we'd love that. Yes,
Pulsating through my body while working on the garden. Yes, and I really felt it today.
yes,
Really felt it today.
yes, ma'am. So
I
tired.
was
Yes,
felt so strong in digging in the dirt, man. I
yeah,
felt
it is.
connected for the first time probably since 2007, because that's when my own personal disaster hit, you
Mhm.
know, with my husband and relationship and getting a divorce, and
Dark
then
nights of the soul.
right, and then in 2016 he gets diagnosed with cancer, or yeah, 2016, Christmas of 2016 he gets diagnosed with cancer, and by his anniversary is in 3 days of when he passed.
Mm.
It's 5 years already.
A lot, and a lot of that, right? A lot of that. I mean, just it was unrelenting, hit after hit after hit after hit. Honestly, I was so over it. I heard I'm laying in bed one time, and it's about 2016, maybe 2017, and I was exhausted, and I just really wanted to check out, but I wasn't going to check myself out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm laying there, and I hear real loud as you can be. Do you want to live or do you want to die? And I was like, I'll get back to you. I couldn't even answer. I couldn't even answer back.
What
and
do
I
you
let
think about that?
and I sat there for a couple of days because I had just got back from a weird trip. It was all the whole thing. I shouldn't even left the house, but I tried to change change all these things that were going on, right?
You
And I
see,
laid there one night and I said, "Yeah, I want to live. I want to live, but I don't want to live like this." And I, since then, have not lived in
well,
that kind
there
of
you
pain,
go.
in that kind of agony, and that kind of, I was just that deep sorrow. Like I lost everything. Everything was stripped from me. Uh, People, the only thing, thank God, I didn't lose were my children. They stuck with me. But man, I honestly
So
don't
Randy
know.
has a question there. Did you see
Sure.
that?
Who does? I'm sorry.
Randy, how do the
Randy.
planets affect me? Her moon is in Taurus, and in the fourth house is her
That's
Taurus.
where my Taurus is, Randy. So it is, look,
Speak
you're
from
doing
experience.
gardening. Yeah, you're gardening. You're watching someone's house and their animals. That's all the house of home and nurturing and caretaking, right? That's exactly what you're doing right now. So what, and then as you put your energy in that and you're helping, look, you're helping somebody out, right? So this is how we exponentially raise our energy, right? To help each
Right?
other, to help
So
the animals.
there you go. And today you should have felt really strong in the fourth house and taking
Hmm.
care of things, maybe clearing away some things,
Yeah,
extra
she
nurturing
did.
going on. That fourth house is the Cancerian house, which is a supportive sign to Taurus. They're, you know, 60 degrees apart. So it's a half a trine, right? It's a
Yeah,
sextile. It's a supportive, like, okay, let's go. I know how to do this. I know how to make luxury. I know how to make everybody happy here.
opulence, that nurture, that really cared for, right? Because that Taurus is ruled by Venus, what you love and value, and it's the comforts, right? And she was out in the garden all day. She was doing all the outside work and helping the animals. So, I mean, it's a beautiful
Sure.
thing. It just lined up perfectly for you.
Well, and,
Maybe you should write a book, Lori. I
well, the
mean, I
moon,
don't want to
the
relive
moon
it.
is yeah, right. The moon is the ruler
Mm,
of Cancer. in the fourth house. And so that is another bit of the flavor because her moon is in Taurus in the fourth.
Yes.
So,
Yes. What you emotionally are
right.
attached to,
So
right?
your moon doesn't change signs. The moon is the most rapid planet out there. That changes
Mm.
signs. And of
And the
course,
moon,
the rising sign changes every couple of hours through the whole course of the day. But the other planets, you look at them, how is it affecting you in there? Is it an opposition? Is it a
mhm,
challenge by a square? Or is it one of those things you'll be working with constantly because it's
mhm,
punks, and that can just be your blueprint alone, let alone the transiting things in the sky. But some things are fleeting, like the moon, because it moves
mhm.
so quickly. The sun
Motion.
changes degree daily,
Mhm,
so that can change aspect. And then when you take the personals, Mars, Mercury, and Venus, and look at them, and even consider Saturn as a personal planet, because he's kind of like that inner voice that says, no, you shouldn't.
That she knows, Randy. I have your chart if you want to get deeper into it. But the last time the moon was in Taurus was in the new moon, right? And that was on May 7th. We got the full moon in Sagittarius coming up on the 23rd. So this whole from now, well, shoot, from I don't even want to go back in time. As we're building up, and those planets are Kazemi, the sun, conjuncting with the sun up until the 23rd, and Jupiter and Venus conjunct. I mean, it's just this is like giving you the kiss of inspiration, right?
Right.
It's
And today, how do you feel?
connect
Because the
to it.
moon is in Virgo. You must have really been taking care of business.
Shoot, didn't that just happen at? I love at the end of Leo because that's where my moon is in the Leo.
Yeah, it did just happen, actually, because it's at 1 degree now, and I printed this chart out for 7:10 this
uh,
evening,
cool.
and that's my
And
time, Eastern.
let's see what's
Yes,
called.
Laura, you should write a book.
Yep, Laura, you have such a eloquence about the way you speak
Hmm.
and how you connect the emotional dots to what's actually physically going on. Um, yeah, this is going to be an epic, deep release for you. Absolutely.
Thank you, Silver Star.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's a great compliment.
what you say? I didn't see it. Just as kind. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is healing.
Up,
And use this energy for that. If that's the space that you're in and you're feeling that and it feels heavy, get it out. Write it out, right? Write it out. Talk it out. Speak it out. This is all going to benefit you. Benefits all of us once we each work on our own healing, right? And as we do that, and like I said, at the same time you're working on your healing, these light codes, these downloads are constantly coming in, but you got to look at them like it's kind of like think of gold sparkles like all everywhere, right? But they're a frequency, and they go to the person whose energy, whatever energy you're emitting, is what part of those sparkles are coming into your energy body, and it just keeps. It's a gradual build up, a leveling up, leveling up, leveling up, and the more we drop, the more we have room for more of those sparkles to come in to our energy body and uplift us to give us that inspiration and the ideas, because that's really what's going on now. We don't know what we know what ascension symptoms are. We know we're raising in vibration. We know things are falling away. We know that uh, uh, there's some kind of rhythm to this, especially after the last 20 years, you get to feel it. But now we're on this, it's accelerated. It is accelerated. And here we are going forward, but we don't know. We're, excuse me, flying blind. Basically, we're flying blind because we're, our guidance are our feelings, and the feelings come from what our heart is asking us to immerse ourselves involve our energy in, right? So it's kind of, we're in the unknown. We're just kind of hanging out there and feeling into it, feeling out
So
who we are.
the 18th is an important date,
Oh yes.
like the big reset, because that is the Jupiter Sun Kazemi. Now Jupiter is or the sun is coming up from behind. So right now Jupiter's ahead. But Jupiter isn't going to be moving as fast as the sun. The sun's going to skate ahead of him. So then on the 25th, we have Jupiter going into Gemini. So what you, on the 20th, the sun goes into Gemini, or is it on the 19th? The sun goes into Gemini and Jupiter follows shortly thereafter. So boom, it's going to be big, it's going to be expansive, and it's your own personal reset. This is the opportunity to do the transplanting for the seeds that you set back in back in February. Because look at
Yeah, we could
it's
even
been
go back
phenomenal
further.
this whole year,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's like, oh, I can feel the climb up the mountain. We're finally getting somewhere.
Yes.
It's not always sliding back down. It's not
Yeah.
always a mudslide that takes us back down to the bottom. You know, we might
Yeah.
slip a little bit, but that's usually when we have a big solar flare day.
That's what's going on, Lori. It's exactly it. We're resetting. So you get to decide. This is the cool part for all of us. Each of us get to decide what that means for us. Once we can let go of the baggage, of the pain and the trauma, and I'm not saying that is easy, and I'm not saying it flippantly. Once you can get to that point of looking at it, blessing it, and sending it on its way, all that drops off you. There's your reset. Because now you get to fill that energy up with what you prefer instead of what you felt that you were destined to endure. You know, um, really if I could say anything to everybody, give yourself the chance to go forward it with a clean slate. None of this stuff hanging on us. Now it doesn't. I get hit every couple of days by something that just this deep-seated sorrow for humanity's enslavement. I mean, that's really what I've got it down to that. And I just got to,
Good
peel
word.
another layer.
Good
Peel another
word.
layer. Say that again. I'm sorry, Don.
Good word. Enslavement.
Yeah, it's what it feels.
You
And
know, these solar flares that are coming by 2030, we're not going to be able to support this kind of stuff.
well, that's going to be all different by then because that stuff is elevating too. We can't,
And
how are we going to ascend with an old, archaic electrical grid?
there's so much in the sky right now. There's
This is
2
part of
yachts,
our going forward.
4 yachts. There's 4 yachts. And then we have a mystic rectangle. So we should all be getting downloads about what we can let go of now. We're ready to let go of. Estrella is about justice and what we can't let go of. But she is part of the mystic rectangle. So she is in there telling us, you got this time. And then she's throwing a light over to Pele Athena, coming out of the top of Zeus's head. That's where she got born. She is the brilliance that we all have within ourselves. She's at 0 degrees of Sagittarius, and Estrella's at 28 degrees of Cancer. That's close enough. And then we have Ceres. What do we want to fight for? What really serves our purpose? What is our harvest? What is it we want to harvest? She's in Capricorn. You know, follow your heart, but also follow the rules that you set for yourself. And then all of that goes up to Jupiter, the sun, Vulcan, all that whole stretch through Taurus, and then back over to Estrella. So it's just
And
it's a
that's just
stunning time, frantic as
3
it can be.
planets, right? This whole chart. This the message here is the Sun, Uranus, and Venus and Jupiter are all speaking to each other. They're all going to go forward. This is Jupiter. I'm sorry, Venus will Kazimi the Sun be together with June 4th. Take this time, clear the slate, fill it with all the things you prefer. I mean, these are like gifts. This is gifts from spirit, gifts from God. Jupiter is basically the lucky planet, right? The luckiest planet. It's going into the sun. Venus is what you love and value. Uranus is our wild card, right? But
Yeah.
that wild card, it's based on what's that energy that you are emitting? What are you attracting to you? Really think about that. Because a lot of us, I know I used to do this. I used to say, oh, I'm all good. I'm cleared. No, I had crap hanging off of me and I didn't even know it, you know? And that is what, no, Randy, Vulcan is a planet too. Well, it's not proven at the moment, but it's there.
No,
Um,
it's really there. They just can't see it because it's so close to the sun. Even when
mm,
10 degrees apart from the sun, it's still so close to the sun that there's nothing that can take a picture of it because
it's
it
so
travels
cool.
with it, you know? So,
And I love what Perret said about writing. Yeah, you write all that
yeah,
stuff out.
yeah.
Get it
I
out of
heard,
you because then as you speak it or write it, the energy gets out of your cellular molecular structure. You get that. That's where you come in and the cells regrow and the cells are healthier and whole and happy, right? And that's another good idea. See your cells, all of them, trillions of them, lit up in gold sparkly light. That really helps clear that out. Because here we go, right? We clear this out. We have this clean slate. This is the question that we were asking today. What do you want to do with this? What does that mean? What does that mean for people like us going forward? Who are we? What is it? We're here. We know that we're heart centered and soul centered. We want to help others and be love and be kind. But, in what ways? Like, that's why we're talking about Diana starting her gardens, like
right.
it could be anything. It doesn't, we're at the baby stages. I don't know how to even, like, we're at the baby
Well,
steps, the
it's a reset,
baby
right?
steps.
It's a
Yeah,
reset.
it is a reset,
So, yeah, it's
right?
the death and rebirth.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
that's
it's
Pluto.
Pluto and the tower.
Yeah.
The tower and the death card in the tarot, right? Yeah. I saw that, Silver. I was gonna chuckle.
Oh, it has to be true. Oh, Lori, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're feeling so out of sorts. It get it out of you and
Well,
try to take that focus onto what it is you would rather feel and
yes,
experience.
I do not accept this. And don't use the word I. Call yourself by your name.
Mm-hmm.
That way you are looking at yourself differently.
Mm-hmm.
And
As
and
an observer.
we're light workers and we're now starting to see, yeah, I mean, things are changing. Things are really changing. It may not all happen at once, but we are finding success.
Oh my gosh. I picked a few cards from the
Well, I was shuffling and I have to show this one because it just jumped out of
Sacred
the deck.
Traveler.
It's the A Night on Earth. And while I was shuffling to warm cards up, I got this card, A Night on Earth, right?
A Night on Earth.
A Night on
Oh,
Earth,
that's pretty cool.
right? And I was hoping that it would come out again because there's going to be more aurora borealis. And it's going to come as a, oh, wow, here it comes again, because they're not expecting it.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Do you know what that aurora borealis is doing? This is why the rainbows keep coming in. The rainbows keep coming in, and as our chakra, yes, we have all the colors, but when you think about it, you are a being, a column of iridescent white sparkly light because all the colors are enmeshed in you. This is important, especially right now. This working on your chakra system. Work on from top to bottom, bottom to top, whatever you feel is off. Take the time and really integrate that because as a aurora borealis, all those colored frequencies coming down onto the earth in places they never came before are, I mean, there's no other word for it for me. They're infusing magic into our atmosphere. It is, it, I mean, this is spirit. This is all spirit. It's phenomenal.
Right.
And what we are going through is phenomenal. Let me see what Lori's saying here.
Even
Yes, you will be alive, Randy.
Even though we have Pluto in retrograde, he's still in Aquarius, and he's not going to go deep enough into Capricorn to not still feel the energy of Aquarius. It's all going to be part of the flavor.
Oh yeah, we're going to get into that and coming up. You know when it comes into stuff. Now, Lori, the generational trauma cycles, right? Let me give you a quick tip, and you might be able to help. I'm not saying it's going to clear everything. See yourself attached at your belly button by a silver cord, a gold cord, whatever color you want. Go down and lay there while your meditation and say, I want to be the one that stands up and heals my ancestors. I want to heal my line. I want to give everybody a free pass. Give everybody unconditional love and acceptance. Whatever you want to say to these people or do with them or whatever comes in from them, try to work it as, you know, you're a neutral observer. You're here to heal this once and for all. Take that cord and shoot love down there. Shoot that unconditional love and truth down that cord. I mean, that helps for me when I get in those types of
right. And you're talking about the need of the synchronicity, but this is, I have to look at it to say it. It's synchrotron. It's all the bits and pieces that didn't fit in. These are all of the ancestral things that we're working on right now to heal, to pass off. And we're all standing under the angel song. We understand angels speak. We do angels speak. We understand dragons speak in like language. We may not be able to translate it, but when it impacts us, you know what you've just felt. You know what you've seen. You know what it said to you, even though you can't reiterate to someone else. And I loved what Teresa said about the tower changes matter back into energy.
I didn't see it. Think about it. Yep.
Becomes information that's flowed again, it's mattered, right?
And it's constant. It's a constant cycle. It's cyclical. It keeps going and going until we can take off those layers of density and look at it as a neutral observer and say, I see you, I love you, I bless you, but I'm moving on. It's time to move on.
This is not our first lives. We've all been here before.
Doing the same stuff.
We come back to improve. And sincerely, when we go back and the tower destroys us again, then we manifest the new earth all over again. And this is where the karma is. This is the karma spot. You know, we talk about karma a lot for us on a daily basis and what you're going to do when you cross over because you're bringing bad karma with you. It's not how it works. The karma lies in what you do to fix it here. Because when you come back again, what you come into. What contract do you sign up for?
What you
lesson
left.
didn't you learn that you know you have to come back and do again?
Oh, that's such a good point, Diana. Because what we leave here, we got to come back and go through it again. So as she's saying that, I was given that, I don't know where I found it, heard it a long time ago, and I was like, okay, I made it a mission. I'm clearing everything I can possibly think of. Anything me, my family, my ancestors, and because I believe what Therese Ford said, we can manifest a new earth. We can manifest ourselves anew in every moment. It's not easy to drop the pain. The pain and the trauma, I was comfortable in that for a very long time, you know? And that's when you realize that, you're like, holy crap, what in the hell? But you got to be
It's
honest
that
with yourself.
tight belt that rides on your hips because you're wearing share hip hugger pants and you don't know it's pinching you until you take it off, and then it hurts because it's already cut off the circulation.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's not. And Lori, if forgiveness is too much of a word, do acceptance. I couldn't forgive. There's a lot of things that are unforgivable, in my opinion, for many of us. But in my specific case, there's certain things that are unforgivable. Can I accept them and look at them as a neutral observer and say, "Yeah, I see you. I love you. I let you go." That's it.
Yeah,
Doesn't, and I don't sit here and I don't get tore up about it. I don't cry. I don't, it doesn't hurt like it used to. It used to be so traumatic to me, and I was so raw. Um, you know, and I feel for everybody. I know we all have this thing
yeah.
that we constantly give our energy to,
Well, and
because we think we're stuck with it. We're saying, well, here, somebody gave me this and I have to hold it forever. That's not true.
the harder part is accepting that ego can be good. You have this power. You have this ability. You have this strength to not only go through what you did with the pain, but you have the strength to redesign where you're going in the future and what you want to see for those you love and those that are surrounding
Mhm,
you. I love that. I love that.
mhm. And you got to think, even the most unforgivable acts, that person at that time was a hurt person hurting another person, but somewhere along the line, that person was being hurt by another person. And this cycle kept going.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
cycle keeps going, and we keep keeping it
Yeah.
alive. We don't
And
have
it's
to keep it alive,
and
right?
that soul that
Yeah.
was
Free them.
abused as a little kid, as
That's
a
right.
peasant in Druid Ireland, is now come back to repeat it over and over because it's the
Hmm.
one lesson he needs to learn
Hmm.
before that soul is allowed
But
to ascend.
right, but think about this. What if we come and we heal that trauma, right? Because we can look at it and we can say, okay, he was once or she was once a hurt person hurting people, and it came to them, they were abused on some level. It
Yeah.
came to me, I was abused on some level. But here, I'm aware that this is the pattern, and I can say, I forgive you, I accept this, I love you, and I'm freeing all of us. So
Yeah.
then that person doesn't have to come back here and experience that again, or place that experience on another unwitting individual, right? I don't know. That's at least my hope. And it's not easy, and I know I mean, I sat and wallowed in misery most of my life. I know. I'm not
But
trying to say this is easy.
as a child, you may be bullied by one person at home and then go to school and bully somebody else and not even realize,
That's what you're doing.
not even realize that that's what you're doing. But as you grow and you get to the point in your life that you understand, whoa, I don't want to repeat this behavior, you make an educated choice, which is exactly what this card says,
Right.
choice.
Yeah.
You have the choice. And so
Yes,
if
Therese.
we think about this, everybody, as we're kids, we all feel as if we had this abandonment and rejection, and we weren't one of the cool kids. We weren't on the in crowd. And then now we're adults and we're all sitting here talking. And regardless of what our childhoods were like to us as an individual, we're discovering we've all had the same damn childhood. It's
Exactly.
like, well, now wait a minute. How did this happen? We all had the same shitty childhood of having no power and everybody trying to take it away from us. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't deserve that. You were you go from being the only child to being the oldest, and now you got to know everything at 3 years old. It's like, come on, folks.
It's true. It's true,
So,
right? And
right.
and that's why I go into the many lifetimes we've lived in this 26,000 year cycle, because we've all been hit with all these same traumas constantly, and we
Yeah.
leave with them and we bring them back, and we leave and we bring them back in a different way, and it's just modified.
Yeah.
It's just modified every time. And as I was looking at it, and I was like, I got to figure this out, because I'm not doing this again. I'm not coming back here. I'm not dealing with this stuff. And again, right, your card was choices, and I have that written down here: making higher choices for ourselves. We can
Yeah.
do that now. Here we are. We're awake, aware. We're clearing the trauma, the pain, and we're really putting in the thought about where to go next. Well, I certainly don't want to bring any of this crap with me on my next
Right.
whatever that is, right?
Right. Yeah.
Y'all have,
And yes, Randy. No kidding.
yeah, Lord, Lord, I know it, honey.
Yeah.
It is unconditional love that we're sending you, and acceptance, and I understand. I do. Get it out of your system so you can create that life that you came here for. That's inside of you. We all have this dream, right? We have it in there. We kind of kept it. Well, now is the time to pull that dream out, and there are no limits. Don't let money, time, space limit you. You take that dream out, you speak it out loud, you write it down after you clear, of course, right? And
Yeah.
you keep every step. Spirit, show me my next best step to this dream, or spirit team, whoever you talk to.
This is why
This
memory,
is there for us.
we must have chosen to find each other in this lifetime to help.
Yeah.
Yes, Randy, you are so right.
Mm.
And this card just triggered something else we had talked about before, which is our memories.
Yes.
If we don't remember, we are destined to repeat the past. So
Absolutely.
as I was raising my kids, it's like you remember every single thing you do, so that when you have kids, everything that has happened, everything that I've done that you've gotten angry with, understand, copy the things you really liked because that was fun. No doubt about it. But understand that as a parent, you have to discipline. You have to set regulations and boundaries, because you don't want your kid to kill himself accidentally because
It's
he
hard.
does too many crazy things at 7 years old, let
It's just
alone when they're
not easy.
teenage, right?
Yeah.
And that's that silver thread also. That silver thread is nothing new. It has been a part of, oh my God, since the beginning of time. It's, I can remember talking about the silver thread in the 60s, learning how to astral project. You got to claim your silver thread so that you don't get lost out there.
God,
But
tether
that
your
silver thread is also part of spell work. And you
and
pull and you tie, and tying it together. And this brings me to Egypt, because when you look at the hieroglyphs, when you see the Jed, It looks like it's that thing that looks like the handle of a lightsaber that the Jedi used. And in Egyptian language, it is Jed, Djed. And then the next is a red ankh, which means this is a sacred spell.
Mm-hmm.
And all the hieroglyph that comes after that is what the words are to say. The ankh would also be, you could write a spell down, fold it up, and tie it into a red scarf and wear that as your ankh. So that you were bringing in not just the holy, the sacred, not just the God, but all of the spirit world that helps support us in our spell work. And
you're
what do we
connected.
do? What do you do in first grade? You learn how to spell.
Yep. Yep. And you're connected to God with the same silver cord. It's just never ending. But to know that, right? To know I am tethered to unconditional love, or I am tethered to truth. I'm tethered to peace. It really helps you to, okay, I'm not here alone, because I really thought I was alone until I understood all this stuff. And you research it, you figure it out, and you're doing spells, and you're trying to figure out outside of yourself. That's where I started. There's something outside of me that's going to fix me. That's not how it works. You got to go inside to fix you. And then you notice, okay, well, geez, I was, I mean, it goes the list, right? The list goes on. But where was, yes, Randy, we must have chosen to meet each other. And yes, Silver Star Priestess, that is why we're doing this work, to be the one who breaks it. It stops with us. And man, that is so powerful. I got the Journey by Moonlight. And it says
Ooh.
believe in magic, right? So
Ah,
we got that full moon in Sagittarius, which is magic, on the 23rd, which is another magical day. I mean, every day is magical.
that's
I can't even, I don't know, we'll have an update on the full moon, but I don't see any end to this powerful manifestation energy we're in Taurus season. Now, Taurus season ends on the 18th. I'm not sure the exact time. We go into Gemini, but then we come in, right? I manifest as Taurus. I am is Aries. I think is Gemini. So here you're going to think, you're going to bring your brilliance in, you're going to have ideas and inspiration to work with.
my
Believe
moon
that,
is
believe in that magic, you know?
my
And then
moon
I
is
got,
Sagittarius, so that'll be my lunar return.
see, as mine was today, rainbow blessings. I mean, I can't make this up anymore. That's all I see anymore is rainbows. That was the second card, and it says, blessings are showering your life. So all this magic that's coming in is showering our life. All those
Oh,
colors
that's
from
awesome.
the auroras are coming down and showering us with,
That's
oh,
how that rainbow looked pouring out of the sky, only the other direction.
dang. And that's so crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, spirit is giving us direction. Do follow your heart. Follow it. And then I got navigating by the stars. Well, isn't that interesting? Because that's
Ah,
what you and I do. Follow your bliss. And everything on these cards is about us personally.
yeah. Ah,
Us
creation.
personally. Oh,
That goes
see?
with that perfectly. Oh, the
Mhm.
backwards camera drives me nuts.
I mean, you can't. We're in this powerful moment in time since Taurus season started, April 20. I'm not even sure the date. It's been one after another. These last four planets in Taurus going forward. I mean, Uranus is going to be held back because he's not moving as fast as the other three. This is our time. to jump, to shine, to do that thing, whatever that thing is you want to do,
Well,
to
and
be that.
Jupiter will be in Gemini for the next 2 years. So
Yeah,
there's an expansion, you know.
brilliance. And Jupiter rules, I mean, yeah, uh, Jupiter rules Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
I'm sorry, that's the full moon. I'm not, anyway.
Okay.
But the brilliance is there, right? I mean, that's 2 years with building. Okay, you got to think of it like this too. I manifest, I think. So here would be 2 years with Jupiter in I think, creating the new Earth. What is the new Earth? What matters to us in this new Earth? You know, how are we going to free ourselves from this crazy crap out here?
You
What do you
can't
think?
make this up, okay? So the card I pulled for what you were saying is Diva Magic. That's how we're going to do it. And on the bottom of the deck is a new earth, the rising
Oh
energy
my
of
God.
a new earth. I mean,
Oh
you can't
my
make it
God.
up. You can't make it up. We
Oh
have
my
the
God.
abundance mandala as well as sadness. And that abundance that we have is the ability to cure the things that we have carried with us that is our sadness.
Mm.
And there we have the abundance mandala.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Oh my God. Thank you for that. Oh my God. Building the new earth. Divas. You are all divas. We got to remember, right? As we all say here, we go, yeah, we were destined to see each other and meet each other. We're remembering who we are. Remember, you, I know I get these flashes, and Diana gets them too, and I know a couple of others that hang out in with us who have seen us all as goddesses throughout space and time. Like we are not, and I'm not saying that for ego bump or nothing like that. It's about you understand what unconditional love and truth is. Yeah,
Yes,
you
Laura,
understand.
Randy, that card is beautiful. The first time I saw it, I went, it's,
Which
yeah,
one?
the Diva Magic card.
Let me see it one more time. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
well, it's somewhere in this deck.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. It was a rose or something, wasn't it?
Yes, with a big eye in the middle. How perfect is
Oh
that
man.
for all the Jupiter and Gemini.
Oh, I
Expand,
love that, Lori.
expanding
Viva
your,
Rainbow Tribe.
yeah.
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 And I mean, I just love how spirit's always here. And see, and I get the card of possibility, the unicorn. That is also a rainbow. I don't know if you can see on his tail.
Ah,
And that's possibility. Raise your standards, elevate your expectations. You have unlimited potential. That's for all of us. We all have this unlimited potential. We came here to kick butt, and free people, free humanity, free ourselves, heal ourselves. And look on the bottom, I got a healer.
there you go. That's too cool.
Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh.
That's too
Cheers.
cool. I want to pull a dragon card.
It gets fun. You just want
Yeah.
to pull a card. It
I
is a
still need to get that.
responsibility to leave love into the earth, Teresa Ford. That's not ego. It's a calling. I love that.
Groucho
Oh, man.
laughing.
We are light weavers. You guys are just geniuses.
Yep.
All of you. I love that, Teresa.
We've had a great get together here. Oh my gosh. We're going on an hour and a half. Do you realize that?
Oh my God. Time flies, man. It just
I
flies.
know. When you're having fun. And I still have a vacuum cleaner to put together.
Pegasus is my power animal. Mary, that's cool. Mary Starshine. Yeah, and you see, this is I don't follow a script. Diana doesn't follow a script. I don't. We kind of know what we're going to say because we've been getting these inklings through our spirit team for a couple days. But we come up here, we talk about what we talk about. It takes as long as it takes, and the messages come through. I don't. I hope we're not being too long over time. Oh my God, no! I'm
The
gonna swear.
rainbow dragon. You can't
No
make it up,
effing,
girl.
no effing way.
Yes way. Trust. Trust.
Trust.
Yep.
What's it say?
Brings the leap of joy that opens the new doors. Have trust. Rediscover what I can't. Oh, rediscover wisdom. Everything we've been talking about. Expect miracles. Accept opportunities. You can't make it up.
You can't make it up, and I can't talk anymore. I can't even believe how cool that is. I mean, it's all about the rainbows. It's all about utilizing those colors, utilizing that aurora, all those colors, infusing them into us, into Earth, and creating this new Earth. The truth rings true. That's why we're all here agreeing with each other. Oh,
right on. Right on.
That's so cool. It is absolutely beautiful. Y'all are just magical. We love being here with you. We will we will be back on the 23rd. Yeah, the 23rd full
Yeah,
moon.
must be because today's the 15th. Where, you know what? Wasn't it just Christmas?
I mean,
so to think it's going to take me a year, because I can't, once those lavender babies are established, I can't just put them over there. I have to prep that ground too. So it's going to take a year for me to have enough growth on them to move them to a different plot to be a farm, right? So, but look at how fast this one's gone already. It's going to be nothing, and it will be time to transplant again.
And that's kind of the like one of the last messages, at least this time. As you're planting the seeds, we're like, oh, what's going to happen? Where's it going to grow? But it goes so fast, that we could. I don't want to say waste the time, but we could maybe spend too much time focusing on something that really didn't need to be focused on. Is that?
Do you hear her? She's chuckling and going, oh.
Aww. Aww. See, she's getting the rainbows too.
Yep, she is. Well, I'm sure all of our pets have felt it. I know mine have. Yeah. Yesterday, we hardly walked much yesterday at all, and they both came home and just snoring left and right like we had walked 5 miles.
Thank you all for being here. Silver Star Priestess, Randy, Teresa Ford, Lori Hunsinger, Mary Starshine.
Yes, Randy, Teresa, thank you all so much.
I mean, it's just been a beautiful conversation, and wow, the spirits talking. We have the power to create the world we envision. Let's do it. And we'll be back on the 23rd for the full moon in Sagittarius. Very lucky full moon.
Yep.
So keep planting these seeds every day. Keep putting that, speak it into existence. Spells, right?
It was a full moon when I was born because I'm a Gemini.
See?
Right. So it's not the same day as my birthday, but it is my lunar return because it's the full moon.
See, this is so cool. All right, rainbow beauties, we love you.
Thank you all.
See you next time. Thank you so much. Have a great night.